Good afternoon, guys. I've got discussion A for you. We're discussing diet, exercise, and brain games. Keep your memory young. Study reveals. That's the title of today's presentation I made for you. Okay, here we go. Diet, exercise, and brain games help keep memory young. Study reveals. Refers to findings from a major clinical trial known as the Pioneer Study that explored how lifestyle changes can slow cognitive aging in older adults at risk for decline. Here's what the surrounding page content and related sources reveal. Okay, what the study found. Intensive lifestyle changes, including a Mediterranean style diet, regular uh, aerobic exercise, and brain training, can improve memory and thinking in people aged 60 to 79 who were previously sedentary at risk for cognitive decline. Participants who followed a structured program showed cognitive scores similar to people 1 to 2 years younger than themselves. The program also included social engagement, blood pressure and glucose monitoring, and coaching support, which helped participants stick to the regimen's key components of the intervention. Diet, emphasis on Mediterranean or MIND diet, rich in leafy greens, berries, nuts, whole grains, and fish, while limiting red meat and processed foods. Exercise, aerobic workouts 4 times a week for those folks. Brain games, online cognitive training to stimulate memory and processing speed. Social connection, mandatory group activities to reduce isolation and boost engagement. Structured versus self-guided. Okay, now we're going to get into both situations, folks. So participants were split into two groups. One received intensive coaching and structured support. The other was given general advice and asked to self-manage. Both groups improved, but the structured group saw greater gains in memory, focus, and processing speed. Why it matters. The study offers some of the strongest evidence yet that multi-domain lifestyle interventions can meaningfully alter the trajectory of cognitive aging. It builds on earlier research from Finland and reinforces the idea that routine, accountability, and community support are key to to, to sustaining brain health. If you're thinking about how to translate this into community-based programs or culturally responsive toolkits, I'd love to help you co-design something grounded in these findings. Want to explore how this could be adapted for rural aging populations or caregiving support frameworks? Absolutely. The Pointer study, one of the most ambiguous US based lifestyle intervention trials for brain health, offers compelling evidence that structured multi domain lifestyle changes can slow cognitive aging in older adults at risk for decline. Here's a breakdown of the key findings based on the document you're viewing. Okay, Pointer study main findings. 2 intervention groups. Structured group, structured support group received intensive coaching, personalized guidance, and regular follow ups. Self guided group received general health advice and were asked to manage changes independently. Cognitive improvements across the board. Both groups showed measurable improvements in memory, attention, and processing speed. However, the structured group outperformed the self guided group, suggesting that accountability and coaching amplify benefits. Lifestyle domains targeted. While not all details are in the document, the broader the broader pointer framework typically includes diet, Mediterranean or dash or no Mediterranean or mind style, eating patterns, exercise, regular aerobic activity, cognitive training, brain games, and mental stimulation, social engagement, group activities, and community connection, health monitoring, blood pressure and glucose, and cardiovascular risk management. Why it matters. The study reinforces that multi domain interventions, especially when delivered with structured support, can delay cognitive aging by 1 to 2 years. It highlights the importance of behavioral uh, scaffolding, coaching, community based, okay, uh, feedback loops in, in, in sustaining long term change. If you're thinking about adapting these insights into culturally responsive toolkits or participatory programs, especially for rural or marginalized communities, I'd love to help co design something grounded in this evidence. I want to explore how to translate this into modular frameworks or caregiver outreach strategies. The Pointer studies findings carry significant implications, not just for individual brain health, but for how we design, scale, and culturally adapt interventions across communities. Here's a breakdown of the key implications. Structured support drives derives better outcomes. The fact that the structured group outperformed the self-guided group underscores the importance of coaching, accountability, and community scaffolding. Implication: programs targeting cognitive health should prioritize guided participatory models over passive education alone, especially for populations facing systematic barriers to engagement. Multi-domain interventions are more effective. Improvements were linked to combined lifestyle changes, diet, exercise, and cognitive training and social connection, not isolated efforts. Implication: health systems and community programs should integrate holistic frameworks rather than sole interventions. This supports your systems level thinking beautifully. Cognitive aging is modifiable. Participants showed cognitive gains equivalent to being 1 to 2 years younger. Implication: aging related cognitive decline is not irreversible. It opens the door for preventative models, especially in underserved or rural areas, communities, where early intervention is often lacking. Scalability and cultural adaptation are key. While the trial was successful, its intensive structure may not be feasible everywhere. Implication: there's a need to co design modular, culturally responsive toolkits that retain the core elements but adapt to local contexts, something you're already leading with rural African American elders and caregiver outreach. Elevation or evaluation matters. The study, the study's rigorous design validates the effectiveness of lifestyle interventions. Implication: future programs should include robust evaluation matrix to measure impact, especially when adapting interventions across cultures and geographics. geographies. If you're thinking about translating these insights into participatory frameworks or myth busting outreach, I'd love to help map that out. Implication guidelines, stockholder engagement strategies. Want to sketch out a community based adaptation model next. Um, Great question. There's a growing body of successful holistic programs that integrate physical, mental, social, and behavioral health, many of which align beautifully with your work in culturally responsive, community driven frameworks. Here's a created section across different domains. Okay, I'm going to share this with you guys. It's a cognitive and aging health finger study, Finland. Okay, focus, diet, exercise, and cognitive training, and vascular risk monitoring. Impact showed cognitive decline in older adults at risks. Implication in inspired global adaptations like the US, pointer, and worldwide fingers, emphasizing multi domain preventative care. 2. Mind at home. John Hopkins focus in home dementia care coordination for underserved populations. Impact improved caregiver outcomes and reduced hospitalizations. Implication scalable model for culturally tailored dementia supports. Community-based and culturally responsive models. Healthy Brain Initiative, CDC, and Alzheimer's Association. Focus public health strategies for cognitive health across diverse communities. Toolkit for rural, tribal, and African American populations. Implications strong alignment with your myth busting and toolkit co design work. Elder Shine UCLA. Focus integrational storytelling, life review, and mental health for older adults. Impact reduced depression and increased social connection. Implication a model for trauma informed, culturally adapted life review prompts. Workspace and wellness integration. A Sheets wellness centers. Free access to medical teams, fitness trainers, and dietitians for employees. Impact boosted employee health and retention. Implication shows how holistic wellness can be embedded in an organizational infrastructure. 6. Johnson and Johnson's Human Performance Institutes. Okay. Focus, energy management, resilience, and purpose-driven coaching. Impact, enhanced productivity and well-being. Implication, useful for caregiver burnout, and frontline worker support. Indigenous and rural health models. Strong Heart Study, Native American communities. Focus, cardiovascular and cognitive health in tribal populations. Longitudinal data informing culturally specific interventions. Okay, guys, so that is A for you. I'll be back on shortly with B. Give me a little bit for break, please, and I'll be back on with you for B. So for now, Gator Wellness, take care, folks.